What is going on, world? Welcome back once again. My name is ZacNovak and this is ZacNovak Plays Games, or Baked ZacNovak. In today's video, we got XUR'S location and inventory a few hours late as per usual, but yeah, roll intros, let's get right into it. I hope you enjoy. Alrighty, so getting straight into the video, XUR is on EDZ at Winding Cove. Once you have spawned in, simply jump on your Sparrow and head up in this direction. The good old tentacle bastard should be chilling up near the crashed ship up on a little hill. Fingers crossed you got something decent this week. Let us see.
You have questions. I will try to give you answers.
Cool.
I bring a message from the Nine.
Is that message you got some good loot coming in the future? Because I seriously hope so, because this week it's not the worst, but it's definitely not the best. It's average. So let's start things off with the first thing. We've got ourselves the Sanguine Alchemy for the Warlock. 23 legendary shards for this fairly OP exotic. Main perk is actually called Heightened Senses. Standing in a rift grants you and your allies heightened senses, allowing you to retain your radar while aiming down sights. Additionally, nearby powerful enemies are visually marked and can be tracked without line of sight. So in other words, if you're standing behind a wall and there's an enemy on the other side of the wall and you don't know they're there, well, wearing this, you will. This thing in itself actually is fairly OP, especially in a group play like, you know, Crucible and stuff like that. This thing actually is fairly OP. Secondary perks on it are Unflinching Bow Aim, Unflinching Fusion Rifle Aim, as well as Unflinching Kinetic Aim, as well as, but not so limited to, we've got ourselves a Scout Rifle Reserves and Special Ammo Finder. This thing in itself, once again, is pretty freaking decent. Pick it up if you have not got it. 23 legendary shards. But moving on, next up for the Titan, we got ourselves the Dune Marches. 23 legendary shards for this different exotic. It's actually pretty cool looking aesthetically, but its main perk also is kind of cool as well. It's called Linear Actuators, increased sprint speed. Sprinting builds up a static charge. After melee attacking an enemy, that charge will chain damage to nearby enemies. Now these things in themselves are probably just behind an insurmountable skull fort for the Titans, and pretty much they in themselves are pretty basically OP. I honestly will state this thing in itself is actually fairly decent. Its secondary perks on it are Fusion Rifle Dexterity, Hand Cannon Dexterity, and Outreach, as well as but not limited to, we've got ourselves a Scout Rifle Scavenger and Special Ammo Scavenger. Pick it up if you have not got it. 23 legendary shards for the Dune Marches for the Titan. But moving on, next up we've got ourselves the Celestial Nighthawk for the Hunter or Huntress. 23 legendary shards for still one of the best exotics for hunters or huntresses. Main perk is Hawkeye Hack. Modifiers Golden Gun to fire a single high damage shot. Enemies eliminated by the shot explode and grant you super energy. This thing in itself is honestly really freaking OP. This is a boss melter. Honestly, it is still at the moment the highest damage output exotic that we actually have at the moment for the hunter or huntress. This thing is seriously beastly. Secondary perks on it are Fusion Rifle Targeting, Hand Cannon Targeting, and Hands On, as well as but not limited to, we got ourselves Sniper Rifle Reserves and Machine Gun Reserves. Once again, 23 legendary shards, pick it up. But moving on, next up and finally to the weapon of the week, we got ourselves the Graviton Lance. 29 legendary shards for this very OP pulse rifle, and it's always going to be OP, I think. Main perk on it is actually called Black Hole. Second shot of a burst rips a hole through space and time, doing high damage and recoil with no fall off. In other words, this thing can fire from one side of the map to the other side of the map, and if you are good enough, you can pretty much just get those two-shot kills almost every single time. This thing is seriously beastly, as well as its secondary perk pretty much going hand in hand with its Black Hole intrinsic perk being Cosmology. Kills with this weapon cause enemy targets to detonate and spawn void projectiles that track targets. So this thing in itself is like having a gun that literally shoots mini warlocks that allow you to actually throw freaking tracking projectiles that are made of void, and they track the targets, and it's honestly cool. It's honestly a lot of fun. If you've not tried this out, definitely go ahead and pick this thing up because it is amazing. 29 legendary shards. Moving on, finally, to the consumables of the week. We got ourselves the 5 of Swords challenge card. Yeah. Pretty much, Zor is going to have more consumables in the future, as Bungie has already told us, but at the moment, Zor only has the 5 of Swords. What can the 5 of Swords do? Well, it allows you to have modifiers that are able to be put onto the already challenging Nightfall to make those challenging challenges in the challenging Nightfall more challenging, with those modifiers to make it more challenging. That in itself is honestly more challenging and more fun. So pick it up if you have not got it. And finally, moving on to the Isochronal Engram, also known as the Fated Engram. 97 legendary shards for this Fated Engram. Only going to decrypt into an exotic that you don't actually have. Unless you have all exotics, then you're going to get a duplicate exotic. However, the actual loot pool for exotics don't actually consist of Forsaken gear, so this in itself is going to be most likely a duplicate set of gear. However, this thing in itself can actually grant you some pretty good actual rolls on certain armors. So if you do get armor like that, then in itself it can actually have good rolls. So Winter's Guile, please tell me it's got some good rolls. We got Pulse Rifle Loader and Sword Scavenger. What else have we got on this? We've also got ourselves Submachine Gun Loader. That's not the worst, as well as Fastball. I do like Fastball, but Submachine Gun and Pulse Rifle Loader is actually pretty nice. And we've also got ourselves a Special Ammo Finder, which really is not too bad for some gauntlets. So this in itself, I actually do like, and I probably will keep, considering I don't actually have a good set of Winter's Guile on my Warlock. So yeah, that's one for this week. Anyway, this has been Zor's location and inventory for the weekend. This has been ZacNovak. Also, quickly, have you guys actually noticed Zor doesn't blink both eyes at the same time? He blinks one, then the other blinks, and then one blinks, then the other blinks. Or is that just because his tentacles are kind of just, you know, phasing through his face? Probably his tentacles. Good old tentacled bastard. But that has pretty much been Zor's location and inventory for the weekend. This has been ZacNovak. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, leave a like down below, leave a comment, let me know, did you guys actually get anything good from Zor? Was it something you actually wanted? Was there something you were missing from the good old tentacled bastard? Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you guys actually hyped that Zor is going to have some new stuff in the actual future? Because, you know, Bungie did actually mention about that. And again, I'm also going to have a video coming up in the next few days. I don't know if I've mentioned this. Well, I'm going to have a video coming up in probably either tomorrow or something like that. Probably tomorrow or the day after. Red Dead Redemption 2 gameplay online, all that good stuff. It's actually pretty freaking funny. So hopefully you guys are actually staying tuned for that. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Do all that good stuff. Once again, I'll be churning like Karen there. He was Ed Sheeran. But until next time, this is ZacNovak signing off. Peace out. Get out of here.